going into a Starbucks, right? You go into a coffee shop and you're the first one in line, right? You're ordering coffee, and the person that's helping you, they skip you and go to the person behind you. Like that's not good customer service. Imagine that. You just like skipping tickets and not doing any of the tickets that come in first, and just knowing how to handle the tickets and knowing how to respond automatically as a human being.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our SFL Podcast. Today, I'm excited to have Kevin from KevTech Academy joining us. The reason why I've connected with Kevin was because there was an instant connection with him because of his instant need to help people online, to help them with their IT needs and help desk support. And with the industry changing so much, and you see the fourth industrial revolution, Web3, the metaverse, and the list goes on. We know that technology adoption is happening in so many industries across the world. At the very moment, in the supply chain and logistics industry, technology adoption has accelerated, and is because obviously the COVID and pandemic has done that. So, Kevin, just tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, how did you get to 32,000 followers on LinkedIn and decide, hey, I want to open up my own YouTube channel?
Yeah, definitely. So I've been in so if anyone knows about me or looks me up, you can find me as Kevin Apolinario. I'm also known as KevTech IT Support. I have a YouTube channel, and I've been in IT since 2014, I'm gonna say 2014. Started learning about hardware, software. I didn't know anything about computers. I'll be honest with you. I knew nothing about computers. I knew absolutely nothing about PCs, desktops, hardware, software. So I wanted to learn fundamentals because a lot of people go back to fundamentals when it comes to learning IT, because you cannot learn cybersecurity, or you can't learn certain aspects of IT without understanding fundamentals. So it's a long story, but to get straight to the point, I did 12 years of restaurant. I did 4 years in NYPD, and it's gonna give you probably ask me more questions because of that. But I did the NYPD, I did the restaurant, and then I the thing is with having skills, you have something called transferable skills. So what does that mean? Like, Kev, what does that mean? Basically, you have skills that you could transfer over to IT. So I took my skills from being in restaurant, which is my soft skills, and I transferred that over to IT. And I also studied my CompTIA A+, and I got my first job after that. So literally, I used my soft skills. I went to a job interview. I went to a technical training school. My manager got me a job interview for a client for the Department of Education as a field technician for the DOE, and I had a job interview, and he really liked my soft skills, and I got hired because of that. And then I had to get my A+. I got my A+, and I got my first job working for the DOE. And then I moved up after that. So I moved into the MSP companies. I worked for an Apple company as well. I worked for a few hedge funds, and now I work cybersecurity. But before I got into IT, like going all the way back again, I got a lot of bad information on online for getting started in IT, which is why I created my YouTube channel, because people will give me misleading information, bad information that was not helping me at all. So I had to like learn it on my own, per se, because nobody wanted to teach me anything. And that's how I started my YouTube channel. And then as far as LinkedIn is concerned, we didn't really have LinkedIn back then, and now we're kind of more like on LinkedIn now. My LinkedIn grew because I was so active on LinkedIn. Like I like 2020, I was active, but I wasn't that active. Then 2021, I wasn't that active. And 2022 is where I went all in. Like I literally went all in, and I just started engaging with people, talking to people, helping other people. And my LinkedIn following grew because when you take the time to help other people, people will appreciate that. So that people will follow you if you help other people. Because at the end of the day, if you have social media on LinkedIn's all about obviously you gotta ask for help because you're trying to look for a job, but also it's all about helping other people as well. You cannot just be asking for me, 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 me. It doesn't work that way. So I went on LinkedIn, I literally became a brand where I help other people, and that's how I grew my LinkedIn as well. And I have a YouTube channel. that has 42,000 subscribers because of that. And those videos are free. I don't charge anything. And then I'm big on LinkedIn because I help people on LinkedIn for free as well. And then I have my own Discord, and my Discord has 8,400 followers as well. And that's because I don't charge anything. But outside of that, I enjoy my video games and stuff like that, and work out and stuff like that. But that's basically in a nutshell. Like I have my answer is extremely long, but that's basically what it is for me. So.
No, that's absolutely perfect. I mean, it's really interesting to hear like how you didn't have no IT background, and then you just went into IT just by using the skills that you had, and that's amazing because we know that the tech, the tech field right now is lean onto people to join, is because that's how in demand it is. So I mean, it's a great thing, and it's such an inspiration to so many people out there who feel like, oh no, I don't have any tech skills, and then you say, hey, it's possible. Just use what you have, and then it'll follow. And I mean, you're doing such an amazing job, besides the fact that people love free things now, which you are just absolutely amazing in giving it. Okay. Yeah. So Kevin, you mentioned before, the soft skills are very important in help desk support. So is like, it provides such good mental health for people because you're actually helping them in so many other ways so they can get their work done faster, et cetera, et cetera. And, I just want to know what is your views on actually having a ticketing system that is automated. So versus having a whole lot of help desk support and help desk emails coming through, but actually having people just logging in tickets continuously and, helping them per ticket. What are your views on that?
So as far as the ticketing system is concerned, like I like to think of it as the human aspect of it. What do I mean by that? So basically, and we could get into a whole conversation. It's like a can of worms because we're going to talk about AI, ChatGPT, and a bunch of other stuff and automation. But to be honest with you, like going based on my personal experience and based on the customers that I have worked with, they rather have a human than a robot on the back end looking at the ticketing system. So for me, it's very important that you have a human look at the ticket and respond to the ticket, because you could have all the bells and whistles as far as automation is concerned with robots and stuff like that, but they don't have the human element, like the emotional side of IT. So it's so hard for me to say that we don't need humans when we do need humans. And it's very important with these ticketing systems that you have a human respond within the 24 hours. That's the reason why we have something called the ITIL certification, where we talk about SLA and SLA agreement, because I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want a customer, like you're helping a customer and then that customer, you take 3 days to help that customer's going to get mad at you. So we would try to avoid doing that. That's the same thing like going into a Starbucks, right? You go into a coffee shop and you're the first one in line, right? You're ordering coffee, and the person that's helping you, they skip you and go to the person behind you. Like that's not good customer service. Imagine that. You're just like skipping tickets and not doing any of the tickets that come in first, and just knowing how to handle the tickets and knowing how to respond automatically as a human being. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, so it does kind of. I just want to know, like, so I mean, if you're getting a customer who's sending you a whole bunch of emails and saying, I need help with XYZ, and then you get another email from another customer saying, hey, I want you to help me with ABC. But then, as you said, if you have a ticketing system that they can just log a ticket in, and then yes, you do get a human or a support person behind that, but then they actually have access to see how fast was that ticket resolved. So even though a human person is helping them, but then they have that access to say, I can just log a ticket. I know it's going into their system automatically. I don't have to physically send an email to my help desk support. I'm logging in a ticket. I'm sending it through, and like what's your views on actually a customer or a client sending an email versus logging a ticket?
Like for me, like I like an email, or I like logging in and taking an email. The thing is, it really depends. Like this is a hard question to answer because it really depends on who the person is. Like if it's an executive like a CEO, I'm not gonna be like, oh, go make a ticket. Like, I can't do that for the CEO because this is a CEO, right? Or it's like a C-level person, like I don't know, like a CIO, CFO. I work with a lot with executives, and I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, please make a ticket or please email blah blah blah. Like I have to make a ticket on their behalf. So really depends on the individual. And also the other thing about tickets that come in, there's a priority, right? Like you want to make sure that you handle the most trouble tickets, like the most priority tickets, like the ones that are super duper important. Like it depends on the ticket too. Like if someone cannot log into their computer and they can't do any of their work, I'm gonna have to prioritize that issue versus someone having an issue that their mouse is not working. Like, or just go use it, go get another mouse or whatever. Like it really depends on the ticket, it really depends on the individual. But me personally, I prefer someone creating a ticket. But if it's an executive, I'm not gonna have them create a ticket. They may not know they may not know how to create a ticket because their job is to do their job. That's it. It's not to create tickets. So I have to make a ticket for that executive or that VP, and if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And like, how would you judge service level agreements? So if you have a client that's coming in and saying, okay, I want support on certain things, how would you judge their service levels agreements to say, okay, yes, we do cover this, or we don't cover that, or you just allow them to ask you all types of IT support. So let me give you an example. Like for Software Logic, they are CargoWise service partners. So what happens is that they do all the implementation for all their clients, for CargoWise. And CargoWise is a ERP TMS system that is used for all logistics and supply chain customers. So how would you, so we know now that if a ticket is being logged, it's only going to be logged for the use of CargoWise. But then how would you differentiate if, they are sending different types of queries? How would you judge that service levels agreements on a ticketing system?
That would vary on your manager or whoever you're working with. So your manager is the deciding factor of the ticket, because sometimes you have different departments you have to work with, and you will not have access to certain things. If you're doing IT support, you will not have access to everything. It really depends on the company. So if there's a ticket, like for example, like a network admin ticket where you have to make some changes on the router or the switches and stuff like that, I would obviously prioritize that ticket and give it to the network admin team. If it's a ticket that has to do with sysadmin related stuff where they have to make some changes on Active Directory or the domain controller, I have to go in and assign it to the sysadmin department. If it's cybersecurity related, I have to assign it to cybersecurity related department. It really depends on the ticket that comes in. And that's why like it's important that when you go for a job, that whoever's training you, they're properly training you on the different departments and the different companies that you're working with, because a lot of these tickets that come in when you're brand new, you don't even know where it's gonna go. Like, okay, how am I supposed to assign this ticket? I don't even know. I didn't get proper training, or I didn't even know who to give this to. Because the last thing you want to do is you wanna grab a ticket and you put it in the wrong queue, and then that ticket's in the queue that's in the wrong queue, and that ticket's stuck in that queue for 3 days, and no one's looking at the ticket, right? So you want to make sure that you have proper training, so then you know that it goes to this queue, not that queue. So then someone actually takes care of that ticket or takes care of that issue. So those things are very important. Understanding the different departments, understanding the different SLA agreement, understanding what's the difference between an incident and a request ticket, and understanding the different levels of escalation. So sometimes you have to escalate a ticket to a certain department, a certain manager, a certain director, and it gets complicated because you have the approval process or chain of approval. So you have to get approval from certain people in the departments or in the company themselves in order for you to make a change, or in order for you to do certain things on the back end. If you don't get those changes approved, then you can't do anything. So those things are also very important. So hopefully that answers some of your question.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because as you said, like if somebody new comes in, they don't have full access on the service level agreement. So if you're having an automated ticketing system, if I'm a client, if I'm logging a ticket, I already can say, okay, this is the level of priority, the escalation. I have a list of certain type of errors and issues that's going to come in. So we know it's going to go to the right department. It's going to be escalated correctly. It's going to be seen to in the correct time frame, etc. So I think that's where I feel like maybe having an automated ticketing system is much more helpful in terms of giving help desk support, but I guess it doesn't work for all areas of IT. But I guess in this type of industry, in implementation of software, it does help, because then you already know what the software issues can be, from prior experience. You already know what clients have experienced, especially new clients that's just coming onto the new software. You know exactly what they may experience. So you already have those automations there. So it makes it much more simpler if you and help desk support now to say, okay, this is a ticket that I'm coming, this is the escalation, this is a priority, etc. So yeah, I think in that, I guess it's always everybody has different opinions on it. Automation has not worked in every type of industry, but hopefully, we can get it to work in the IT industry to help desk support, because you know how important it is, especially for clients to continue with their working day, especially with new software that's been implemented in their business, for the operations to run smoothly. So having that automation, I think, is quite important. I hope you agree with me on that.
No, I was gonna say I agree with you, but also that's why as an IT manager, if you're an IT manager and they have the ITIL certification, stuff like that, that's why it's important that you run metrics and reports, because when you run metrics and reports on these ticketing systems, then you know how to automate it. So like, okay, I see this month we had 60 people with the same issue. They all got locked out of their account. Okay, how do we automate this? So then we don't have 60 tickets coming in every month on someone getting locked out over and over again. Or a ticket comes in about a specific product that the company uses, and they're having the same issue. Everyone's having the same issue across the firm, right? So how do we automate this so we don't have 100 tickets for this issue that we're having? So that's why it's very important that if you're an IT manager or a director, whoever is part of management, that they should be running metrics. So then you have less tickets come in every month. You don't want to have the same tickets coming in over and over again every month. That doesn't make any sense, which is why we try to automate certain things. So then when you go and you do your job, you're less stressed out, because you're not having to deal with the same issue over and over again every day. That's going to be crazy, right? It's insane. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you have definitely answered our questions. And, as you said, automation is something that has to be done correctly. So getting the nitty-gritty done correctly, getting the systems and processes correctly, getting the analytics. Usually people use analytics mainly for operations, etc. But even for help desk support, it's just as critical if you want your operations to run as smoothly. So yeah, that's quite important. Yeah. Anything else you want to add to it?
No, that's pretty much it. Just automation is going to always be there, but you need a human for this as well. Obviously, for someone that is trying to get into IT support, documentation is very important as number one as far as the ticketing systems are concerned. So don't just close the ticket to close the ticket. A lot of people close the ticket, but they don't put a solution as to what they did and how they solved the issue. So that's extremely important. Don't just randomly close the ticket without putting a solution, because I have had issues in the past that the issue comes back again to me after 6 months later. And then if you don't put the right notes on the tickets, you don't know how to fix the issue. You're pretty much in trouble after that. So it's very important that you create documentation. And I know that sounds boring. Like a manager or IT manager will praise the living hell out of you if you do documentation and you write like a KB or a knowledge-based article on how you resolve an issue for a software product that the company uses. Even if the product is only used in that company, if you write like a documentation and you could share that with everybody, that's a win-win for the whole company. So it's very important that you make documentation and you actually showcase how you fix that issue and then everyone could fix it. If you leave the company, it's there. So now everyone could fix it. So
yeah. So it's not like everybody starting from scratch and let me see what has been done, what's been done in the past. And then it just saves a lot of time because, the notes are there. Yes, I totally agree with that. What do you say, like, is your typical day like in help desk support? Like, what do you have to go through?
Yeah, so for me, like anyone that's watching or listening to this is the most important thing for me in IT or help desk or desktop support is customer service. That's gonna be number one for me. I don't care how much you know in IT. I don't care how smart you are. having those people skills is so vital to IT, because you're gonna deal a lot with people, and you're gonna have issues where someone's just having a bad day, and you gotta have a lot of patience. And the other thing is that they may take it out on you, so you gotta have patience with that person and just don't take it personal. Like, people take it so personal. I'm like, don't take it personal. Like, that's just person just having a bad day. You know what they're going through. Try to have as much patience as you possibly can and figure out the issue. So with me, it's customer service, troubleshooting strange error messages you've never seen in your life. You're gonna see like a bunch of weird error messages. Working with different departments. Working with executives, because I work a lot with executives and C-level people, and handling any tickets that come in and taking phone calls and stuff like that. So those things are very important. Having strong analytical thinking, but also having soft skills. I'm pretty sure, like, if you go to a job as an IT support and you have really strong soft skills, like, the person would not be mad at you at all. Like, I literally had that all the time. Like, I had a customer do a 360. Like, he was having a bad day, and I told him, like, I literally had a conversation with him. He was upset with me, and I told him, "Oh, you're having a bad day." He's like, "Yeah, I'm having a bad day." Okay, so for Christmas, I'm gonna buy you a punching bag because you're so angry for some reason. So I'm gonna buy you a punching bag. So, you gotta have soft skills. It's so important. So that's very vital to IT. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be IT. So it could be any job in IT. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're obviously working in the restaurant and working in NYPD obviously added to those skills and gave you that patience, because I've seen your videos and I've seen your posts, and that's one of the reasons why I was like attracted to getting you on this podcast, is because it was your instant empathy towards people. And I mean, after the COVID, after the pandemic, how much people need that. And prior to this, mental health was not so much spoken about, and now you know how much it affects people. And just by you doing that, you just never know how you can change somebody's life or change somebody's view of thinking for the day. And that's great that you can just put that out there, just for free, and have that empathetic view on people, because at the end of the day, they are humans, and we're all human, and we all have bad days. So it's great that, that's who you are. I just think another thing that just came to my mind is, like, what are some of like your most common tickets that you do receive? Like, is it like some hectic IT support tickets, or sometimes it's just like, just mundane things that people just don't know? So what is your main common tickets that you do receive?
There's gonna be a lot of Outlook issues, Outlook, Excel add-ins, software that people don't know how to use. Sometimes you gotta take time and educate the client or the user or whoever it is, educate them. Just show them how to use certain things that they're trying to do. So we have like third-party applications that they would not know how to use. Like, to be honest with you, we have documentation for that. So I would either give you documentation, or I would show you how to use that application or that software. So the tickets vary from day to day, but the most common ones, like you said, would be like Outlook, Word, Excel issues, application issues. My account is locked out. They can get locked out of their account every single time for some reason. I don't know why, but it happens. My password is expired, or I need to have access to a certain share drive or a certain folder because I need to get my job done. So things like that. Those are like the common IT issues you would see. I don't get bombarded with calls like other jobs. Like in my previous job, I was getting bombarded with phone calls. My phone would not stop ringing. I would close like over 1,000 tickets a month because it was so busy. But in this job, no, it's just like, it's not that bad. Like, you could handle that. It's not that bad. So yeah.
Well, as I was saying, like, the industry is changing so much. So, technology adoption is across so many industries. And, SFL is more of, they do service the logistics and supply chain industry. And one of the things is that with the new technology or the new software or ERP, TMS system that they do adopt, help desk support is vital, is because in the event, something is not working, not automating correctly, it can have a ripple effect from your first mile delivery right up to your last mile delivery. And then I'm sure that, you see the urgency of helping people, because as much as, my password is expired, but you know the implications it will have on that client or that customer that you're speaking to, and how it can affect their business and their operations going forward. So I feel like it's absolutely great that you have that patience with people. So yeah, and just by going on that, like, what are some of the disadvantages, by just by the top of your head, if you can think about it, what are some of the disadvantages of not helping your client correctly or not helping them efficiently?
Yeah, that's a good question. So if you have a client that you don't help them correctly, one is they can't do their job. So like if you literally like, and I'm talking about like real life scenarios. Like I had an issue with a customer. Um, he was trying to log into his computer and he couldn't log in for some reason. And for some reason he couldn't log in, and he kept trying to log in, he couldn't log in, he couldn't log in, he couldn't log in. And then I went and checked his account, and his account expired. So basically the password expires, so you can't do anything. So you have to look at that. The other thing is proper training. So but what does that mean, Kevin? What does that training mean? So you have to train the user or the client, whoever you're working with, you gotta properly train them, because you don't know. If like thing is with me is that I when I give someone a laptop, I'm gonna give you a real life example. I have a laptop that someone's going to like on vacation. They're going to like Hawaii or UK, London, whatever. I don't know, whatever, right? So you give them a laptop and you show them how to log in and do all their work and everything. If you educate the user, then they're gonna call you after that. You'll be fine after that. So you have to know how to educate the user or the client, because if you don't do that, your that phone was not gonna stop ringing. They're gonna keep calling you until you pick up the phone and you help them. So education is so important. The other thing about education too, going back to education again, is educating your users not to click on strange emails, or not to do certain things when it comes to social engineering. So sometimes in IT, it's not going to be cybersecurity. I'm gonna tell you right now, cybersecurity sometimes is not going to be the first person to help the users. It's always going to be IT support or help desk, right? So help desk's job is to educate the user for social engineering or cybersecurity. So sometimes you're going to have clients that they need to be educated on those things. Like, don't click on this link. Don't click on that email. If someone's calling you for your password, don't give them your password. Verify that person's a real person. If they're calling you and they're pretending to be Best Buy or Geek Squad or whatever, they pretend to be like this third party person, don't give them any of your information. So as a person in IT support, you may have to deal with that as well. You may have to educate the user on cybersecurity as well, and you have to educate them in software. There's a bunch of things are involved. It's not even that. It's just so many different things, because the first person that the customer sees is always going to be help desk or IT support. They're the first person that they deal with. So that is super important. The other thing for me is not to sound random, but the important thing for me is giving the user a first impression of you. If you give them a bad impression, they're gonna ask you for help anymore. So then they're gonna ask for another person or another tech. So you gotta be careful with how you talk to people. That's very important as well. Yeah. So disadvantages, like I said, documentation, proper training, sometimes cybersecurity. It's a little bit of everything too. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. So I mean, what is it? Just clearly, just by speaking to you, you can see that it's more than just a career for you. It's actually purpose driven. This is something that I think you've actually figured out. This is your purpose, and this is because you've excelled in it in such a short space of time. And that's great, because if you get more people on board that is purpose driven in this help desk support, I mean, as I said, technology is being adopted so much across the industries that we need people who are purpose driven, people who are saying, okay, I want to help this person is because I know the implications they're going to have later on, or I want to educate this person so I don't get that ticket again from this person. And I think many times in the past, what used to happen is that people will phone IT all the time, and then you just get IT going onto their computers and saying, okay, let me sort it out for you. And then 5 days later, they're in the same issue, and then they phone in you again. And I think that's what's great about it, is that it's not about the money, and it's not about how much you're making. It's about how much you're helping people. And I think that is absolutely amazing, to have you on board. Yeah, so I just think, like, what are some of the advice that you can give out to people? I mean, you said you have a YouTube channel which has like over 40,000 subscribers. What are your most common videos that you do that you feel that people need to educate themselves more on?
I think for me, to be honest with you, would be having soft skills. I have interviewed myself over 20 to 30 IT managers and directors. And when it comes to talking to them, they all talk about soft skills. So I'm gonna talk about soft skills. So when I interview managers, it's like I could teach you IT, but I cannot teach you your personality or your soft skills.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to work with a jerk. So you have to have really good soft skills, because at the end of the day, like if I want to give you a job, I can give you a job. And,
Yeah.
and if you know how to do the job, that's fine. I don't care about that. All I care about is your personality. Are you a nice person to talk to? Are you approachable? Are you not gonna make me feel dumb and stupid? Right? Those things are very important, because I have worked with other people in IT that they do that. So when you go into a customer, the customer asks for help, and you work with your coworker, and the coworker gets upset and angry. He's like, oh, you didn't know how to do that? How do you not know how to do that? How do you not know how to fix that issue? And he makes the customer feel dumb and silly. You're like, you can't do that in IT, especially if you want to get promoted to other jobs, like
Yeah.
going to cybersecurity or sysadmin, network admin. You have to know how to communicate. And I talk about that in a lot of videos. I talk about communication skills, having communication skills, having soft skills, learning how to talk to someone, because that's very important, because you don't know that, like, every person you talk to, the way you have a conversation with that person, a lot of those people that you talk to, they haven't done the IT. Some of them are not tech savvy. So when you go and do technical jargon, they'll be like, what the heck is he talking about? Right. So you got to know how to break it down in a non-tech way so they understand what you're talking about. And I talk about that in my videos as well. So soft skills is going to be important. It's very important. The other thing is going to be very important is having strong analytical thinking, trying to figure out the answer, trying to resolve the issue. Learning how to Google. That's so important. Like learning how to Google and learning how to find the answer online, because you get this weird. So what happens is with me, because I'm also a technical trainer, right? So you train all these students, and when I train these students, like a lot of people go and see an error message on the screen and they give up. Like, oh, I don't know what to do. Kevin, can you help me? Right? And I'm like, come on, you can do better than that, right? Like, there's an error message on the screen. You copy and paste the error message and then put it on Google. So learning how to Google is so important. That's another important aspect which I talk about. And then the other thing I want to talk about, last but not least, is figuring out how you learn. So learn how to learn. That's very important. That's a super duper important. Learning how to learn, because everyone learns different. And I learned this the hard way, by the way. I went to college and I failed my English class. I failed it, and because I had a bad teacher, I didn't have a good teacher. So sometimes you have a bad teacher, not a bad student, and they don't know how to teach, right? So I took the same class and I got a B plus. Why did I get a B plus? Because my teacher was more like, that person was more fun to understand. I like how they taught. So you have to figure out your way of learning. Everyone's way of learning is different. You may be a book person. You may be good with videos. You may not be good with videos. You may good with, like you may be good with hands-on training. It really depends on the individual and the person. All the students I have trained, like, so I was saying that, like, I could teach you like all this stuff, but like everyone learns differently. That's the super, like, you got to remember that nobody learns the same. That's very important. So those things I talk about as well. So hopefully that answers your question. So like a lot. It's very, very involved when it
I mean,
comes to.
yeah, sorry. Yes, I mean, you did mention like everybody should learn how to Google. So, what's your views on AI and the future of AI?
It's gonna be there more like a cushion to help you do your job, but it's not gonna replace us. It's not. That's
Because
not happening.
yeah, because you see, like Chat GPT now, I'm sure like you've
Mhm.
heard of it, and like
Yep.
everyone's like, oh no, we're not gonna need marketers anymore, we're not gonna need content writers anymore. But I mean, you just said it, like Chat GPT can't provide soft skills, and they can't provide strategy, they can't provide those kind of things, analytical thinking. How do we know that we can rely on that? So I think on an IT perspective, Google is very helpful because it can help you. It has a step down breakdown of everything. But AI is. Do you think that AI will replace human workforce, or do you think it's absolutely necessary that human workforce has to be there for AI to work?
Yeah, AI is not replacing us. Like I said, they're just a cushion. It's a cushion to get our job done a lot easier, but it's not replacing human. The human element is so important. And I'm saying this from based on experience because a lot of people don't like dealing with robots. So you have to know how to talk to people. It's just so important. So
Yeah, talking about robots, like in the logistics industry, like especially in the warehouse industry, people are using. I mean, robots are going to be something that they're going to be, helping out, because that is going to replace some of the human workforce. But when you look at it, it's not going to be replacing the thinking behind how the business is run. It's actually just going to be doing all the manual work that humans are not necessarily going to be able to do now, or the mundane tasks that people cannot do. And I think that's going to free up their time for so much more that's necessary in their life. I mean, COVID has taught us one thing, that mental health is important, family time is important, having the work-life balance is important. And I think, how do you as a person try to balance that off? Because IT support is so necessary. So how do you manage to get that work-life support, work-life balance within your industry?
so with me is I like that question. As you see, I'm wearing this hoodie. It's a judo hoodie. So I done judo before. I'm a judo guy. So being in martial arts, or just being with my sensei, and he talks about balance, and balance is so important, whether it's life or not life, whatever it is, you got to have balance in life. So for me, it's all about balance. Like if you work 8 to 5, you work 8 to 5. Obviously, if you get out of work, like don't like sometimes you don't want to even look at a computer after that, right? So it's the thing is trying to have the right balance. So it's very important that you spend your time learning IT, but also you spend your time with family and friends. So those things are very important as well. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I want you to spend 5 hours learning this subject or 5 hours learning this topic, right? We don't do that. I will tell you, okay, take 1 hour, maybe an hour and a half learning about this topic, but then spend the rest of your afternoon or evening with your family, and also exercise a little bit. I talk about those things because part of IT is also learning how to work out and exercise, because it's a stimulant. It makes you feel a lot better. So when you exercise, you actually feel a lot better. And I want you to live a good life. So you got to exercise, right? So those things are very important. So I'm not gonna make you. It's not all about IT. It's all about having the right balance. And my balance is gonna be like that. It's always gonna be like 8 to 5, 9 to 5. But then I take care of my family, but I also exercise and take care of myself. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I've actually seen your post about how much of weight you've lost and how much you've been, taking care of yourself. And that's really good, because you've actually inspired people to do the same. And I think being in IT support and help desk support, you've actually taken away so much from people and saying, okay, now I don't have to spend 5 hours more in the office, because I have somebody who's reliable who can help me straight away. And I think that is really important. So what other advice do you think you would want to give people who about the importance of choosing the right IT service partner or help desk support partner?
Yeah, so the most important thing is when it comes to working IT and IT partner, or your IT support partner, it's goes back to the human aspect of it. Is it's gonna be like this. Oh, can I work with this person, or can I be with this person 24/7? Like you have to look at all those things. Like that goes back to your manager, but also goes back to your team member. Like, is this person an okay person I could work with, or are they gonna drive me crazy? So those things are very important. So you have to look at it that way. So like, is this person gonna help me and I help them? And it goes back to and I don't have that. I'm not wearing the shirt today, but it's a shirt that's yin and yang, right? Can you guys mesh well with each other, right? So that's very important. Like if you mesh well with that other person, then you'll be fine after that. You're not gonna have any issues with that. But it goes back to asking questions to that person, seeing how they work, seeing how you work, and see if you guys are able to get together and do things together. It's all about teamwork and collaboration. If you don't have that, then you may have problems with your team member, or you may have problems with that work environment. It's very important. Collaboration is so important. So
I think I definitely agree with you. Having a service partner on board, really helps with the progress of a business. So and not having having somebody who understands the domain expertise in the industry, also understanding your pain points, understanding, hey, why certain solutions are important to you. that is definitely something that, definitely boost the business up and boost your clients and customers. And as you said, it's not only your customers, it's their customers as well that needs to be assisted. So having that right person is important in the industry. And yeah, it's actually fantastic that, we have you on board and having you give us all this free information and free advice. Yeah, so thank you, Kevin, for what you're doing out there. I just don't know if you want to add anything else about your typical career and your personality or your job, anything else, just to end this podcast and see, what you have for our viewers.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, I'm a technical trainer. So literally the first thing I do when I train a student, and I talk about this a couple videos as well, is learning how to fail. So what do I mean by that? So when you're brand new to IT, you're gonna go to the job market. I'm talking about like just applying for jobs. You're gonna get a lot of no's because you don't have job experience. So that's just my personal experience. A lot of people are gonna say no to you. So it's very important that you have the right mindset of not giving up. That mindset is so important. The human mindset is so vital to any job in IT. When you're applying for a job, people are gonna say you don't have no experience, you have no experience, you have no experience, we can't hire you, you have no experience. So the human element of it, having the right mindset of not giving up, that is so important in IT. And you get that first job. Once you get that first job, the door opens for you. So you got to have the right mindset that I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep applying until someone takes a chance or gives me that opportunity to land that first role. So that's my advice for you.
That's amazing. And if you get somebody who just wants to enter IT, what do you think would be the first place of education or first thing that they should be trying to educate themselves on before they get into IT? How do they know that IT is actually the place that for them? What is something that they do?
So no, that's a good question. So I literally I like that because I have like a cheat code for that. So I literally tell the person, I want you to pick 5 people. I want you to pick 5 people that are in your network on LinkedIn and pick their brain to see what their day in the life is like for them. So like if you have friends that work as network admin, sysadmin, or IT support, you want to interview those people and take them out for coffee or take them out for like a Zoom conversation like we're having right now. We're having a conversation on video. Same thing, like literally ask them questions like, what do you do? What is your day of life? What do you do? What are common tickets you deal with? What are common issues you deal with? Tell me more about what you do and how you got that job and what certifications you have. So I will literally have you interview people in that specific job that you want to do and see if you like that job, because you cannot go and jump into something if you don't know how it's like, right? So you have to ask these questions to see if you like it or not. So that's what I would tell that person to do.
Yeah, great. Just one last question for you that just came up. I just want to know, in your experience over the last 9 years, or this is your 9th year in the industry, how many women do you think actually have joined the industry? And do you think that there is an incline with women joining, or do you think that we still need more women on board?
No, we need more women on board. So I actually recently I wrote a book for women in cybersecurity. They made me. The women in IT made me write a book because they wanted me to be part of it. So I wrote a book, and I specifically wrote that we need more women in IT. There's a lack of women in IT. That and a lack of diversity in IT. So I seen that happen a lot, unfortunately. So hopefully in the next couple of years that does change. We're definitely need more women in tech. I see this is my personal experience. I worked in a MSP company and a managed service provider, and the majority were women in IT, and I worked with them. And in that job, when I worked in that company or that environment, women have more patience versus men. So they actually have more patience dealing with customer service versus a guy dealing with customer service. So in my opinion, I believe women in general have more patience dealing with IT support or dealing with customer service. They have way more patience than a guy when it comes to dealing with customer service. That's just my opinion, and I'm going based on my opinion and based on my personal experience. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely. I think with all the moms out there, we have enough patience with our kids. So that is why we've built the resilience now. Definitely. Yeah, but Kevin, you know what, this was such a great chat, and I hope that I covered most of your most of the points of a typical day in help desk. And also, people get to know you, but maybe you can just tell them how to reach you on LinkedIn or how to subscribe to your YouTube channel, and then that'll be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So you could find me as Kevin Apolinario. You could find me as KevTech IT support. Those are the two places. Like if you go on LinkedIn, just type Kevin Apolinario. If you want to go on YouTube, type KevTech IT support. If you can't find me either way, like I have a website. It's called kevtechitsupport.com, and that website has free resources for IT support, help desk, sysadmin, network admin, and cybersecurity. And it also has free resources for military veterans as well. So that's a website I created. So if you go to kevtechitsupport.com, you can go to that website. So that's where you could find me. So
yeah, Kevin, you know what, you're doing such a great job with helping the community, and I really appreciate it. And I mean, I'm sure so many people out there appreciate you. That's why you have all these followers and subscribers. And just want to tell you, keep going and keep being an inspiration to people. And if there's anything that anybody else can do and help you out, just shout, and we'll be more than happy to support you through your journey. But we definitely need more people like you and more women on board, as you said. Yeah. So yeah, and thank you for taking time off your morning and doing this with me. Really appreciate it.